Atlas Comet triggers massive solar storms headed to Earth. It turns out I was right about the Atlas Comet on October 6th, conjuncting with the Sun, triggering massive solar storms for 5 days straight so far, perhaps more to come. The thunderwizard.com website is the website that supports this YouTube channel. Please consider going there and subscribing. Check out all the different things you can get: higher dimensional energy practices, personal mentorship, spiritual counseling, live Zoom group classes. My books can be found at michaelwilliamdenny.com. And as always, we question our reality. All right, so check this out. Boom, there's the comet. Boom. Two coronal mass ejections happening as a result of this comet passing in front of the Sun, between the Sun and Earth. Now that was just from the 7th. The same thing's happening now. You can find if you go on and look at the solar weather people, you'll find more of those. On the 9th, even bigger ones happened. So as it turns out, the solar storm on the 6th that I was all bent out of shape about, and it turned out to be a dud. It actually wasn't a dud. It's just it didn't have a lot of material. It was, I don't know. I'm not an astronomical scientist, so I don't know. But based on what I've heard, that there was a flare, but it didn't have like a lot of, solar stuff. Didn't have what is that stuff? Just protons and all kinds of actual physical stuff that interacts with our environment and creates storms. However, the ones that were launched on the 7th, which is what you're seeing here, 2 storms being launched on the 7th as a result of this comet passing between the Earth and the Sun. Those apparently are perhaps hitting us now if they haven't already, but there was 2 or 3 big storms that were released yesterday. So yesterday evening, I believe. And these have a lot of solar material, a lot of plasma, I think, and a lot of protons and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what, a bunch of stuff. And they are smashing together. And actually right now, I believe that we are getting the first part of that, which is the smaller storm. And I've been feeling energy. Now that happens a lot. I feel energy because my light being friends communicate to me all the time. And so it feels exactly the same. It's higher dimensional electromagnetic energy. So sometimes I can't tell the difference between I'm getting hit with some solar radiation or if I'm getting a message. So I've already started feeling this, and I've been getting some info that there's some big energy headed today. Now, since I've had my false alarm, I'm a little more, I'm a little more cautious and non-attached. But it turns out that October 6th so far has been accurate. So if you remember, I was really thinking something big was coming because first off, again, we're going back maybe close to a year. Actual ETs parked outside of my house when I was in Australia and talked to me and said, there's going to be, big changes coming, and they're talking about the shift and the ascension. And again, not giving me any specific details, some of them really, huge. And again, extraterrestrials are higher dimensional beings, so they live in what we would experience as the astral realm. So their reality isn't always the same as ours, meaning we have a lower vibrational 3D interaction when, other things are going on in what we perceive as the astral realm. Our astral realm is their physical realm, so their physical reality. So they were saying that when you see a comet, when a comet shows up big things are about to happen. The change is going to happen, whatever. And as you know, I got a message a couple weeks back as I was waking up in the morning, October 6th. And now I put, 2 and 2, and I came to, 2 plus 2 equals 10. And I came to a conclusion that I was going to be leaving this world and the solar flash was going to hit on the 6th. And, you guys know the whole story. That didn't happen. And the solar storms that did hit were a big dud in terms of how they felt. They're actually were setting up for these, perhaps for these storms that are heading for us now. We'll find out. I'm okay either way. But so far, it turns out I wasn't wrong about October 6th, or I should say the light beings weren't wrong about October 6th. That's when things started. It was a demarcation point, and it started with, this kind of stuff. So this has happened numerous days in a row. So this is passing between us and the sun, and it will come out on the 12th. And there's Stefan Burns is a spiritual, but also a solar scientist type guy, and he was going off about how this comet was actually triggering, or at least he was theorizing that it was triggering the solar storms, which explains why they're all heading towards Earth, because this thing is coming in and acting like a magnet and releasing, or allowing the sun, which has been built up with so much energy because it's going through a pole shift, as well as perhaps all of the work that we've been doing with the sun. This comet passing in front of us and the sun, boom, boom, is releasing all of these coronal mass ejections. Now, the ones that were released today were even bigger than that, and again, they had a lot of plasma and a lot of protons and other things, actual mass that's coming towards the Earth. And these are the things that cause solar storms and auroras and all of that. As I understand from my armchair YouTube watching experience, you guys can watch, find out for yourself what's going on. There's a lot of talk about it. So I'm really excited to see what happens. Obviously, I survived Hurricane Milton. It's still technically going on. It is headed out to sea, and we are about to get the last part of the the tidal. I can't talk so much when all this energy is flying around. But so a couple hours, I'm going to find out if there's any more flooding coming from the high tide. But the waves are enormous. I mean, they're like Hawaii enormous. They're double overhead. They're huge, and they're way out there. There has been some flooding. This storm has been worse than I expected, and part of the reason for that is even though it came ashore further south, which is good, it exited further north. I think off of Daytona Beach, which is not too far from me, and so there was a lot of damage. But my house that I'm in was virtually unscathed. Maybe a little bit of water damage. But things could have been a lot worse, and there were downed huge oak trees snapped in half, and so on the way here I was dodging all of the coming back from the hotel. I'm glad I evacuated and stayed in a hotel, and that was because it turned out to be pretty bad. We lost power in the hotel, which is fine. I just slept all night, and thankfully I got back to the house, and the house had power. So it was the opposite from Ian, where I had power in the hotel but no power in the house. And it was also different from Ian because Ian just parked over Florida for days, and this one just was gone, and 12 hours had passed by. So it was hugely destructive, but I'm okay, and I'm back in business. And so, there might be some things coming up in terms of future housing issues that I think might become a problem. I'll let you know about that if you care at this point, if you're still listening. And anyway, in any case, I'm fine, and let's keep going. So I will continue to do these meditations with this mantra that you're hearing here, these two mantras, the whole breath and the thum. The power of those is unmistakable. By the way, I do think that we did actually help, because the hurricane did drop down from a 5 to a 3, and it did knock it further south. The track it was heading for would have been absolutely disastrous for a lot of people. So just being knocked down, 20 or 30 miles south saved a lot, perhaps saved a lot of lives. Still a lot of damage, but anyway, I'm going to stop babbling because I'm not making any sense. The energy is very powerful. We're going to keep doing this mantra. We'll do this twice a week, and I may keep up a 24/7 mantra chanting. If you want to go back and just listen to it, we can look at that as well. But again, please, if you've been on the fence about supporting the channel, now's the time. Thunderwizard.com. Subscribe. The subscriptions is what keeps me from living in a shelter. And of course, the shop, lots of great stuff there. People are getting a lot of benefit from the 5-element Maoshan practices. Anyway, that's it, my friends. More to come, but let's keep our eyes out. I'll be very interested to see what happens with this latest Atlas Comet. Again, only comes around, I've heard 80,000 years. Another one was 26,000 years. But, the ET said, look for a comet. When a comet comes, and you see a comet in the sky, that's when everything's going to change. So what's happening between the 6th and the 12th, it's now the 10th. We got 2 more days. My prediction is within the next couple of days, we're going to see more of these solar flares, maybe even greater than what we've had. I'm okay if I'm wrong about that. But on the 12th, it's going to emerge, and it's no longer going to be between us and the sun, but it'll be in the sky, and you'll be able to see it. So keep your eyes out for that if you're in the Northern Hemisphere especially. And let's see what happens in the next couple of days. But I'm now of the opinion, here's my prediction. This is not a psychic prediction. This is just me putting 2 and 2 together. My prediction going forward is that this event from the 6th to the 12th and the solar storms that are going to be hitting the Earth might be very significant. If they're not super significant in terms of, experience, or if it doesn't create the solar flash right away, it is going to absolutely have a huge impact on Earth. I think the result of this and the work that we're doing is that the dark force people are going to be they're going to be revealed with their pants down, and we're going to see all of the stuff, and all the stuff that's going to come out about, especially the FEMA corruption happening with the Helene, and what's going to happen after this. One thing about Florida I have to say is that DeSantis is a really good governor. I mean, he makes sure that he takes care of all this stuff. The people in North Carolina, they're SOL. Nobody's taking care of them. And there's huge amounts of, all that stuff is going to be released. I think all of the stuff that's happened in terms of the human beings of much younger age and smaller stature who have been seriously mishandled. I'm trying to be as G-rated as possible, who have been mishandled by the bad people. I think all that stuff is going to come out. I think more and more of the corruption is going to come out. We might see a complete collapse of the governmental system. We might see a complete collapse of the banking system. And we might see, I also think there's a real possibility that there won't be a certified election result. And I think that could result in the fractioning of the United States. And I'm glad I'm in this state here, because I think this one will secede. I could be wrong about all that stuff. but something's coming. Something's happening as a result of this. This has been going on since the 6th. It will continue until the 12th. Let's see what happens. Thank you all for all of your well wishings and your meditations and your prayers. I felt them. I appreciated them, and I'm probably doing okay as a result of it. We're not completely out of the woods yet, so keep us in your noggin, and I will see you all very soon. Please take very good care of yourselves.